Hey everyone, welcome to the show. I have updates to share about Donald Trump and his cases and his trial. So, first, let's talk about how many people took time out of their day in Ruby Red, Indiana to vote against Donald Trump. Even though Nikki Haley ended her campaign months ago, 128,000 people showed up on Tuesday for a primary election and they cast their vote for her. So Haley took 21.7% of the vote. Uh, so, the obvious question is, what are these people going to do in the general election? Are they going to stay home? Are they going to bite the bullet and vote for Biden? Will they cave? Will they abandon their sense of morality and still vote for Trump? We'll see. So next, I have news about a legal firm that's asking to be removed, just released from a case involving a Trump campaign aide, former Trump campaign aide named AJ Delgado. You guys have heard me talk about her before. Delgado is suing the Trump campaign because she alleges that when they found out that she was pregnant with another one of the campaign aides, son, I think it is, with his baby at least at the time, they sidelined her. So this was during the 2016 campaign. And this was the child of Trump surrogate, Trump aide Jason Miller. You guys might recall she has since filed suit against him, alleging all kinds of stuff, sexual abuse. So the Trump campaign, their law firm has now told the court they want out of this case due to a, quote, irreparable breakdown in the attorney-client relationship between the firm and the campaign. And the New York Times pointed out Trump's attorneys asked if they could quit, asked if the judge would release them from this case just 2 days after the court ordered the campaign to relinquish documents, to relinquish anything that they have about any complaints made about sexual assault, sexual harassment, all kinds of stuff from both the 2016 and the 2020 campaign. Wonder why? That would spook them. So Delgado is accusing Trump's team of trying to delay the lawsuit. And so the judge has now asked at least one of the firm's partners to stay on the case until they have a chance to meet, and then they can discuss the issues and figure out how to move forward. So we'll see what happens with that. As for Trump's ongoing current trial, Stormy Daniels continued with her testimony, and the defense tried to poke holes in her story. They tried to prove you're lying, you're lying about the whole thing, you're only interested in making money off of this. It was pretty contentious, and it just dragged on and on. It was like all morning. Trump's attorney, Susan Necheles, was the one doing the questioning, and she showed various interview excerpts that appeared to refute some of Daniel's story. But then on redirect, the prosecutor was able to show, some of what Necheles showed you. Yeah, it wasn't the whole story. She conveniently left out key details. So, for instance, Necheles showed this one article, or she questioned Stormy about this one article, and said that during this interview that she sat for, Daniels had been saying something about them having dinner, I think it was, and that they didn't actually have dinner or something like that. Well, then the prosecutor got up and showed this article says right at the bottom that the article had been edited. So they're not going to put in every single word, every single detail. Clearly, they left certain things out. So, and then Trump's attorney was trying to say, so you're lying, right? Because you said you're on the stand, you're saying you never had dinner with Trump. But in this article, you said you guys met for dinner. Well, that's ridiculous, right? It just shows how weak their defense is, that this is what they're bringing up. So many people refer to times of the day based on meal times, right? Like, when are we going to get together? I don't know, maybe, around lunchtime. I mean, especially when you love food like me. I'm a total food whore. I admit it. And remember, they were supposed to have dinner together. They never did, according to Daniels, but that's why he said he was inviting her over, was for dinner. So the defense went on to question, why did Daniels decide to start speaking out? Why all of a sudden did you want to go public with your story? And Daniels explained that in part it was because she was talking to a friend of hers who was in the military, and he advised her that when you're in the military, you get high. He advised her, get high. Basic, not like high, like, oh, I'm going to go smoke weed, meaning like you need to be visible. You need to get yourself out there, put yourself out there, because if you are visible, if people see a lot of you, if everyone is watching you, then you're less likely to be harmed. So, she was obviously fearful after being allegedly threatened by that one man. And then on redirect, the prosecutor showed some of the threats that Daniel had received because of her involvement with Trump. So that helped. And then Daniels got a few jabs in against Trump, which I'm sure he's throwing a fit about, because she said things like, quote, "No one would ever want to publicly admit to having sex with Trump." Actually, I don't know if that's a direct quote, but it was something to that effect. Like, no, I didn't say that I had sex with Trump because, it was such a great thing and I really wanted to get it out there. No one's going to admit that, right? So Daniels was off the stand. They got her off. I think it was before lunch. And then the next witness was the assistant for Trump, the Trump Organization CFO, or at least at that time, Alan Weisselberg. So she confirmed she sent checks for Trump's signature. She said she was sending them to the White House, but then she said she was directed to send the checks directly to the home of Keith Schiller, which is Trump's bodyguard. So that's weird, right? Why you wouldn't send them directly to the White House? And then she eventually was told to send them to someone else's home, not directly to the White House. So next up to the stand was a woman named Tracy Menzies, I think is how you pronounce it. She works for HarperCollins Publishing Company. She verified that there were two different fonts that they used to notate which parts of the books were Trump's direct exact words, which were, his quotes, and which parts were written by his ghostwriter. So they read a couple of the damning parts of Trump's book where he directly said things like, loyalty is the most important thing to me. He wrote in the book that there was a woman who was, quote, very disloyal to him. And so he said that he went out of his way, quote, to make her life miserable. And then in another passage, Trump said, quote, always get even. When they screw you, screw them back in spades. So, basically establishing how he might handle Stormy Daniels, for instance, and other people who are speaking out against him. And then the prosecutor called Madeleine Westerhout to testify. I mentioned her the other day. Westerhout was basically his assistant in the White House. She sat right outside the Oval Office. She was considered to be his, quote, gatekeeper. So she was fired, apparently, after she revealed a private conversation with Trump, or maybe several. She had, relayed to the press accidentally that he made some not so kind comments about his own kids. So she got fired. Since then, though, she has been trying to suck up. She is trying to worm her way back into his good graces. And at the trial, Westerhout was asked about the Access Hollywood video and if she had heard about it in real time. And because she had been working for the Republican National Committee, and she said yes. And she admitted, yeah, the Republican National Committee was freaking out. They were considering replacing Trump as the party's nominee. So, now we have another person confirming that, yes, this recording, this tape was like a bomb going off right before the election. That goes to Trump's motive in trying to quash any additional negative stories from coming to light. Anyway, at Westerhout as with others, confirmed that Trump was very detail oriented. He paid attention to all the details, all, the intricacies and everything. He read everything before he signed it. So you have more corroboration that Trump likely did not sign Cohen's checks without paying attention or knowing what they were there for. Westerhout also testified that Trump dictated most of his own social media posts, so that can be pretty damning. She was also asked how often she spoke with Trump organization members, people who work at the Trump organization, and Westerhout said sometimes daily, and that was in early 2017. She would speak with Rona Graff over there. So it's obviously, this shows how involved Trump still was in his company. So it makes it harder for him to claim, I had no idea what was going on over there. They just did everything on their own. I knew nothing about this. Next, the prosecutor asked Westerhout about Trump's relationship with Michael Cohen and Alan Weisselberg in 2017, trying to establish, that it would be unlikely for Cohen and Weisselberg to go rogue, to do things without his knowledge. And she conceded that, yeah, he had a very close relationship with each of them at that time. Then at the end of her testimony, when she was on the cross-examination with the defense, they got her to say, yeah, Trump wasn't that upset about the Access Hollywood tape. He wasn't freaking out. Everybody else was, but he wasn't that upset with it. I don't buy it. Not at all. I think it's Trump's nature. I think it's just the way he is to hide his true emotions in situations like that. Because remember, he's always saying, you never admit guilt, you never apologize, you never let people see that you're nervous. So, of course, he's not going to, why is he going to tell someone like her, right? He didn't even know her that well at that point. So, anyway, I will keep you all posted. They will be back in court tomorrow. So more news tomorrow. I am thinking maybe they might call Michael Cohen. Don't know that for sure, but I'm thinking they're going to want to call him on a Friday so that they let some of his testimony kind of linger and hang in the air over the weekend for the jurors. Anyway, I'll let you know. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Please like, share, and subscribe. Please donate if you can. Love you all. Take care. Talk with you soon.